Well, welcome back, animators and editors. So now that we're in Adobe Premiere and we've been playing with it for a couple of days, hopefully you've been getting really acquainted with how easy it is to edit video. So we're going to jump right in because today I'm going to show you a couple of things. One is how to bring in special effects, where to find special effects. And then also I'm going to show you how to use keyframes to either zoom in the video or where you want to kind of animate some text. You know, kind of Star Wars is a good one where you have a scroll coming up and down, or if you want to just have something start really small and come back up, because there is a small amount of animation that you can do with Premiere. We're not going to get too deep into that because we already have Animate for that type of effect. But for Premiere, there's some pretty cool stuff we're going to do. So before I get into the sound effects, let's go ahead and open our projects. So I'm going to go ahead and go into Adobe Premiere Pro 2021. We've already set this up, and we're going to be working with the previous project that we did where we have a lady walking into the snow. So I named mine something probably different than yours, right? And so basically, I believe I named it, let's see, maybe I did name it lesson one, I think. And you may have to do the same thing as I do, right? I called it Origins of the Lost, but yeah, that's where I was at. Usually the top one's the most of it. Don't forget to click on the planet Earth, because that is your U drive. And you got to wake it up sometimes before you can actually get it. So if you don't see your project right away, it's because you have to open up the planet Earth. So this is where we left off, Origins of the Lost, which is really cool. And I showed you how to do fade-ins, and we basically worked with some music.
I couldn't say what it was, but suffice to say, I would know when I saw it. I wanted to go to New York, but you know, all that construction, and then all of a sudden, it found me.
So cool. The music was rising. I want to, actually, we're going to play with audio more today than anything. I want a special effect, almost like a shh, like a kind of like a swoosh, and then it cuts right off, right? So I'm looking at this. I'm planning out my effects. I said, what would really also be cool is if maybe if I had like a distant drum, like a boom, like in the background or something like that.
I was searching for something.
And maybe like some creepy like a like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to come up with these kind of weird things while you're doing it. And although they're very subtle in the background, they make a huge effect when you're trying to, get to the senses of people who are watching your when you're watching your creations, your projects, your films, your animation. Now, think about it, because you are going to be bringing in your animations in here. So all of this is not just to teach you how to edit. This is really to show you the whole process of animation, especially because in your final project, you're going to bring whatever you produce and animate, you're going to bring it into Adobe Premiere, and you're going to add all these cool little special effects and the sound and the dialogue. All right, we're going to add all of these things to this particular project. So let's get ready. All right, and so what I'm going to end up doing here is I want you to, we're going to have to first find all our stuff. I'm going to close this up here. I'm going to go to my little stack. Oops, let me see this. And I'm going to close the panel, go back to my project, music, voiceover, and I'm going to make a new bin. And I'm going to call this sound effects. Sound FX. So I'm going to hover over it. Sound FX. I mean, you can write the whole EFFF, ECTS. I think I spelled it right. I'm not sure. But anyway, that's where we're going to actually to bring everything in. So what we'll do now is, again, I'm going to hit Command S to save to make sure that we have it all down. I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to do a Google search for free sound effects. And there's a lot that I like to use. Unfortunately, Bird of Liesdeek blocks everything as far as sound effects for lots of different reasons. But there are a couple of sites that are open free sound is one of them. And you can try and mix it, right? Pixabay, again, if you're at home on a Wi-Fi, you may be able to download these to your Google Drive, or you can download them on your phone and then transfer them over, either email them to you so you can actually use them if you cannot find the specific one. So today, you're going to learn that it's going to take a lot of time to really kind of look through to get the right sound. So, and it's also going to be, you're going to have to learn like a skill of typing in keywords. So here's free sound. Let's click it. I'm going to go ahead and click free sound. And this is a really cool place. And yes, it looks like a little old website, but hey, they're giving you free sounds. So I want a swoosh. And again, I'm doing this in real time. This is the first time I'm doing it. You're coming along with the ride with me. I don't know what I'm going to find. I'm going through the process so you guys can see it, because I have not pre-planned this. Traditional swoosh. So here you have a little play button. That's what I like about free sound, and you can just preview it. No, not what I wanted. And you can look at the waveform. I kind of want like a big one. And if you look at this waveform, it's like a big swoosh and then it goes out. I want the reverse. I want it to build up, like where she says it found me. And then I want it to kind of like make a big deal, right? So, but just by looking at the waveforms, I can tell you it's not what I'm looking for, right? And then there's pages. So we're going to go to the next one. Well, this one might be good. Just by looking at the waveform, see how it gets louder and then it dies out? Let me see. No, too fast. That sounds like teleportation. No, too fast. Maybe this one. Maybe I should type in long swoosh, because those are too short. Again, you may have to do this yourself, right? That sounds perfect, right? That sounds perfect. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on long space swoosh, and I've got to log in to download. Ooh, so let's find this login. This is the first time I already have an account. I made an account, but for other stuff, not this project. Okay. So once you make an account, there's my little face. Okay, we're good. Sounds. Oh man, they're making me do it again. Long swoosh. Long space swoosh. Oh, wait a minute. No, you got it. I thought you could. You can just download it from here. So see, now it lets me download. Boom. And now it opens up an area. It may go straight to downloads for yours. I'm going to put mine on the desktop. I'm going to create a folder. Call it Sound FX. Okay. And now I am going to hit create. And then it's going to give you a long number. So I'm going to say long. I'm just going to cut it off of here. Long space swoosh. Okay. The other one, I wanted like a mysterious mystery sound. Did I even write that right? Spell that right? Write that right. Spell that right? All right. Let me hear this. Ooh. I think I like to use that one. Part of the fun is imagining what you've created, your editing, and how this is going to affect it, right? So I'm going to click this one, and I'm going to download this one because I'm going to use it too. All right, suspicion. Then I'm going to write creepy. Creepy voice. Let me see. No, that's scary, right? Let's go over here. Oh. Ooh, that's gonna be amazing. All right, okay. Let me go in here. Again, these are the things that make something. It gives your video, your animation, the flavor. I mean, you got all the main parts, but you're looking for flavor. I'm gonna save that, and now I'm gonna look for a scream. It's gonna be my last one, by the way. Yeah, scream. Comic screams, no. Female shout. Sounds horrible. No. Let me go. Woman scream. No, see these big old yell? That's like super loud. It's gonna sound horrible. You see this one? That's awesome. All right, download this. And again, you are going to find your own. You're going to, depending on how you want to work your scene. These are the ones I'm working with. So there we go. So now that this is, I'm going to bring back my Premiere. You know what? Sound effects. I'm going to trash that because I've already made one on my desktop. So now I'm going to bring it in. So I'll double click here. And then I'm going to go to my desktop because that's where it's at. You may have to go to your downloads depending on where you are saving, right? And I'll click that and import sound effects. All right. So again, it's that easy. Once you get it in your computer, you can bring it in to Adobe Premiere. I'm going to double click that. And I got to figure out where I want to put this creepy low voice.
I was searching for something. I couldn't say what it was, but suffice to say, I would know when I saw it.
Okay, right there. I think I'm going to do it right there. So I'm going to grab this and bring this in. Let's see what it sounds like.
Suffice to say, I would know when I saw it. I wanted to go to New York, but you know, all that
Nice. It's a little too loud though. I want it to kind of more in the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically make this a little taller so I can see a very special line. And that line is this right here. And that line, if you can see it, that's the audio volume line. So if I want to bring the volume down, I can just pull that down. And see where it says minus 9 dB. It'll bring down the volume or it'll bring up the volume. So you can play with how loud you want each individual track. Once it's by itself, if it's alone, you can bring down the music. If you can't hear the dialogue, or you bring up the special effects. Now that is key to making everything work together. Because in real life, not everything's at the same volume. It sounds you're going to have to figure out how to listen to things, and it doesn't work. So even if you think about walking in the halls, there's somebody that's distant sound, somebody on the stairs when you're walking down the hall, but they're in the far end of the hallway. That gives us depth, and that gives a more realistic 3D feel of the actual film. So let's see how it sounds now.
I would know when I saw it. I wanted to go to New York, but you know, all that construction. And then, all of a sudden.
Okay. So there, and then we're going to go to our swoosh in a minute. Let me actually bring this open it up more. Got to mix, okay. Large space swoosh. I'm going to use it on the same track. And see how it sounds.
Sudden, it found me.
Oh, nice. All right. Let me go back over again. I kind of want it just a little more.
All of a sudden, it found me.
There it is. And then I want to have a woman screaming in the distance. But I want it to be far away. So I'm going to see how I'm bringing down the volume really low? So it doesn't mess people. So let's start from over here.
To say, I would know when I saw it. I wanted to go to New York, but all that construction. And then, all of a sudden, it found me.
Oh, so now it was a little too low. See, so I just told a story in just a little bit of video and sound effects. So again, I'm gonna see. Did I use everything? 1, 2, 3. Let me pull this back. Oops. Long suspicion. What was this? I don't remember. Oh yeah. I like this at the beginning. And you can add tracks. See, I just added an audio track by dragging it toward the bottom. So let's see if this works.
I was searching for something. I couldn't say what it was, but suffice.
There it is. Now I got a cool intro.
I was searching for something. I couldn't say what it was, but suffice to say, I would know when I saw it. I wanted to go to New York, but all that construction. And then, all of a sudden, it found me.
There it is. Very cool. So, again, the things you can do with Premiere, and you can tell lots of stories through the use of music, setting the mood, getting the special effects in. It's going to take some time. All right. So I want to show you one thing before I release you to work on your own sound effects. Don't worry, you're going to have time to work on it. I'm going to give you the rest of the period to actually work with looking for your own sound effects. And you can spend all day working on sound effects today. So you will be using those. And I really want you to think about the sound effects you're going to use for your final project. So as you're creating your animations, maybe you need a creaking door, maybe you need some footsteps, maybe you need lots of different things. We'll talk about Foley next week, but what you really want to think about is when you have some time to search for those, because it does take a long time to get the right sounds that are in your head. Fortunately, I was able to find it, but you went through the process with me. I did have to change keywords. I had to look for certain things. I had ideas of what I wanted as I was watching the film the first time. So you went through the process with me. So in essence, you helped me find the right sounds that we needed for this particular little clip. So I'll let you go in a second, but the last thing I wanted to show you today is we're going to work with this Origins of the Lost. Okay, how it's coming in. Actually, you know what? We're not. We're going to work at the end. I'm going to make something at the end. Follow along with me. And basically, what I'm gonna basically do here is I'm gonna use a text tool, and I'm gonna write "coming soon," ... right? So it's like a movie that's coming soon. So we just created a preview, right? Like that. We just created a film preview. So coming soon, and I want this to be red. So again, you double click it. You come to effect controls. And again, if you don't see effect controls, you're probably in learning, right? Or you're in probably audio or something else. And these are all panels you can work with later, but we are all in editing. So if you click editing, everything will reset. So again, double click the coming soon. And then we're going over here where it says effect controls. And I'm going to look at where it says text coming soon. I'm going to open the little triangle. I'm going to open up the nested let me see, options. And I actually want the fill to be red, right? Actually, let me cancel that because this is not all highlighted. You got to highlight it just like everything else. That was my fault. So I want it to be red. Not like super dark red, but like more of a red so you can see it, so they can see where the color is at. Let me see what this looks like. There you go. Like that red. I do like it a lot. But I want it to be I want it to like fade away. I want it to shrink. I want as it goes away. So we're going to start tall. I'm going to close this up, right? Because it's the source text that I want. And so down underneath the text or source text under coming soon, these are all the options that'll affect this this text that we wrote. You can basically change the position if you want it to scroll left to right. You want it the scale, which is what we're going to do right now. Rotation if you want it to spin. Opacity if you want it to fade away. Or anchor point is actually where we change it of what part of the actual text is moved. We're not going to work with any of those except for scale, right? So I'm going to go ahead and hit the bottom, right? So it's at regular scale, or it's at 0 right now. You know what? I wanted to say coming soon. I wanted to kind of actually go out into instead of shrinking, I want it to go out and disappear, right? So we're going to start here, and there's a little clock, and that clock is, if you notice, the little flag just shows you toggle animation. So if you click the clock, it turns blue. And basically what it does is it drops a keyframe right here. And I'm going to open this up so you can see the timeline, right? And this is where you work in 3 places. This is where you make an adjustment, okay? When you're working with animation, you work in 3 places. You make the adjustments on this left panel. On the center panel is your keyframe timeline. And of course, here is your program window. So at the beginning of where we're at, and if you looked over here at the timeline, at the beginning of this playhead, where it says coming soon, it's at the normal, position, okay? And then we're going to basically drag this along, and right about here, I'm going to just click it. I'm actually going to take the pen tool. I'm sorry. Here's the pen tool. I'm going to drop 1. I should be able to draw something here. Oh, that's the old Premiere. In this Premiere, all you got to do is tell it what you want to do. Is I basically want to click on it so it can start getting bigger, and it drops a keyframe here. And then as it goes, I'm going to take it all the way to the end, kind of like we're doing in Animate. When it's done, what do you want it to do? Here is the end of the playhead, and I'm going to zoom in. But if you notice, it only zooms in to see it's not centered. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click, and if you see this little blue crosshairs here, that is your anchor point, right? So we're going to put it right in the center. Right, there it is. So now I'm going to go ahead, and there it is. So now I want it to go straight out. There you go. Kind of like the Netflix logo, right? Like the. So that's where we're going to end. So now if I pull back the playhead, and it's a little choppy, I can work with it, but I'm actually going to put it back over here. Bring it back just a little more. And right here, I'm going to basically right click. Actually, I'm going to bring it over here. And then I will go back to effects. And I'm going to do a video transition, and I'm going to fade it in. That way. and I'm going to cut it out right there. I'll take my razor blade. I'm going to cut it right there. Boom. I'm going to delete that part. So as soon as she finishes screaming, the coming soon just disappears. There it is. Okay. Now, that's kind of what I wanted to show you. I'm going to click editing again. Hopefully it resets. If not, we can always retile our editing windows and we're fine. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this back and let's watch our trailer.
I was searching for something. I couldn't say what it was, but suffice to say, I would know when I saw it. I wanted to go to New York, but you know, all that construction. And then, all of a sudden, it found me.
There you go. So I'll go ahead and play around, find the sound effects, is our main one, and play around with your play around with your keyframing of the text. Just for right now, you may have to undo a lot to figure that out. As again, all of this was in real time. I want to make sure that you understood that how long things take in real time. Even though I know what I'm doing, you're learning. So please be patient with the process. Trust me, the little things that you learn, the little things that you practice will make your productions that much better. All right, play around with those, and we'll see you in the next lesson. This is Mr. Juarez saying, make sure you save, Command S, and over and out. Bye.